perhaps most remarkably, the population explosion in Texas has been very well spread out across the state as well. It seems like pretty much everywhere in Texas has been booming recently. Dallas-Fort Worth, or DFW, a large urban metropolitan area in the north of Texas, has added nearly 1.5 million people to its population just since 2010, with around 7.8 million people now calling it home. DFW is the fourth largest metropolitan area in the entire United States, with more people than the entirety of Washington state. And perhaps even more remarkably, DFW is likely all set to surpass Greater Chicago as America's third largest metropolitan area within only a decade from now, sometime in the mid-2030s, at which point it will only remain behind Los Angeles and New York City.
But DFW is far from the only urban area of Texas that has been booming with people recently. Millions more have moved to the state's other major cities in Houston, San Antonio, and Austin, in an emerging, densely populated mega region that is being called the Texas Triangle. The Triangle only takes up less than a quarter of Texas's total land area and is roughly comparable in size to the state of Georgia. And yet, it already contains a population of more than 22 million people, or about 3 out of every 4 Texans. It contains America's 4th, 7th, 9th, 11th, and 13th largest cities, and is the 4th most heavily populated mega region in the United States behind Southern California, the Northeast megalopolis, and the Great Lakes. But by sometime in the 2030s, the Texas Triangle's population is projected to equalize with Southern California's. And unlike those other 2 largest regions in the Northeast and the Great Lakes, the Texas Triangle is mostly all contained within just a single state's borders.
Now, there were ultimately many factors for why so many people have been moving to Texas and the Texas Triangle specifically, but one of the largest has been the rapidly expanding Texas economy. The huge number of jobs it has created and the relatively affordable cost of living and doing business in the state. You see, between 2010 and 2021, the population of Texas grew by 18%, but the economy of Texas grew by a whopping 39% over that same time period, a rate that was approximately 1.5 times faster than the U.S. national average rate of economic growth over the same time.
As of now, in 2023, California's population is estimated to be sitting at around 39 million people even, while Texas is projected to be sitting at around 31.2 million, a total difference now of fewer than 8 million people. If the current trends continue on as they have been, then Texas may end up even eclipsing California's population as America's newest, most populous state by sometime in the 2040s.
And part of the reason why droves of people have been relocating to Texas recently has been because of the droves of companies relocating to the state before them. In just the few short years since the COVID-19 pandemic began in early 2020, about 140 major companies have relocated their headquarters to Texas. And more than 40% of those companies relocated from California. Some of the biggest companies that did so since 2020 that got the biggest headlines included Oracle and Tesla, which relocated from California to Austin, Charles Schwab, which relocated from California to DFW, Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, which relocated from California to Houston, Caterpillar, that relocated from Illinois to DFW, and McLaren North America, which also left New York for DFW.
Goldman Sachs, the second largest investment bank in the world, announced that they would be constructing their new second largest office space in the world in downtown Dallas that will house 5,000 of their own employees when completed, which will make Dallas the company's second largest center of operations after their primary HQ in New York. In part because of all these wide-scale corporate relocations and expansions to Texas, the Lone Star State has been responsible for an absolutely astonishing 35% of all the new jobs created in America since the COVID-19 pandemic began in February of 2020. And to both corporations and people, Texas offers a lot of attractions.